welcome to Mildly Spiraling. I'm your host, Tracy. Happy to have you here. Hello, and welcome to episode 3, season 3, Mildly Spiraling. That's the name of this podcast. What's up, y'all? I'm your host, Tracy. Happy to have you here. If you're watching the video, you can see I am coming at you completely raw. I have no makeup on. I just was not in the mood to put makeup on. I was truly not in the mood to even get out of my pajamas, but I did put a little striped tee on for y'all. Yesterday was hard. This whole cycle has been really, really hard. Well, the news is I stemmed for 11 days and I only really was getting one follicle to grow. And so the doctor and I made the decision, along with obviously chatting with Patrick, to cancel the cycle because it really doesn't make sense. I mean, for some people it does, for sure. Just because I have gotten 4 eggs at my other 2 retrievals, and because my AFC, my follicle count at baseline was 4 and the 3 retreated, we thought it made the most sense to cancel and try again. Basically means the last 2 months I've been going into appointments every other day, every other morning at 7:30 in the morning, getting an ultrasound, getting blood work done, for the estrogen patches in July, and then in August for this retrieval, and then doing injections, the Gonal F, the Menopur, even started the Cetratide or Ganirelix, whichever one you're taking. It's the antagonist injection, if you have taken it before. Every night, 3 shots. I was actually started filming my journey a little bit of my 3rd egg retrieval. But yeah, we ended up canceling. I will say it really stings. It's really, really hard, to not be mad at your body. A lot of this process, it's really hard. I think when I saw the 4 follicles on the baseline, I was like, oh, my little body is trying so hard. And then something like this will just make you really hate your body. And that's just I don't want to. It's really hard when it's just not doing what you want it to do. And, I didn't have any protocol changes with this stem cycle. So we were using the same cycle that had been successful in the past, and it just didn't work this time. And it's so hard. I'm just gonna move my microphone a little. It's so hard because it's why all of a sudden did it stop working? Is it not going to work next time? It's I have no idea. And yeah, it'll humble you really quickly, honestly, this process. Honestly, the last month I've felt on the verge of tears every day anyway. And these last 2 days have been really, really hard. I almost wasn't going to record, but then I was no, I'm going to record. And I'm just going to be honest that this process takes a lot out of you. Infertility is really, really hard. And I think it's with the cycle getting canceled, it's really easy to be well, did I do something wrong? Was it the 6 cigarettes? Was it because I was wearing perfume? Is it because I have a diffuser in the house? It's these stupid little things that I'm sure don't like fully aren't going to change your outcome so much to like having to cancel, but it is like really hard. Is you basically, I started this journey at 37. I'm about to turn 39, and it's like been my whole like life pretty much has been about fertility and my body not being able to do what it should be able to do. And it's hard. I mean, honestly, like I kind of thought this cycle would get canceled because every time I went in, it was like, okay, nothing else is popping up. Nothing else is popping up. It's just this one follicle. And yesterday, when I saw no caller ID calling, I was like, fuck, the doctor's calling me and not the nurse, which I knew that meant it was getting canceled. So I was like prepared. And it's kind of like, they always, I mean, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. I know the news you're about to give me, and it's really gonna fucking suck. So yeah, I don't know. One thing I have learned with IVF, and I think everyone says this, that like, and I've, dealt with like insurance shit, and I'm still dealing with insurance shit. And not having insurance that covers it for a while and everything. And anyway, basically what I've learned is that you can never make a timeline with IVF. You can never make a timeline with fertility when you're dealing with infertility, when you're dealing with diminished ovarian reserve. I have severe DOR. Like you can't make a timeline. So I made this like timeline in my head to like have some kind of control over it, where I was like, I'm going to do a retrieval August, October, transfer 2027. Now I am just kind of like, well, let's hope the next one I can retrieve a couple eggs that will fertilize, hopefully. And so like the plan now is this retrieval will happen in October. I'll prime in September. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and just put my name on the books for December, just so I am like, okay, well I've got two retrievals on the books, which is what I had before. So that's the plan. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, I also like a couple days ago, my insurance rejected PGT testing. So that's going to be $5,000 per cycle. So that'll be $10K just for PGT testing. The reason I desperately want to do PGT testing now is because I've transferred 4 untested embryos and none of them stuck. And so the first like key thing someone that has failed transfers like should do is get testing on the embryos, make sure that you're transferring euploids. And then if, I have euploids, if I'm able to create euploids with my eggs and Patrick's sperm, then we do exploratory things like see if I have blood clotting, see if I have silent endo, things like that. So it's funny because of course, my insurance said it's not medically necessary. Has my insurance had 4 embryo losses? They don't give a shit, so they don't care. They just want to reject it. So that really sucks. And then we were going to pay out of pocket for that. I did file an appeal, but we'll see. So pay out of pocket for that. And then like honestly just hope that we get to that point, because I'm like, could my body be declining this quickly? I mean, I don't think so, but it's like maybe I don't know, it's really hard. Yeah, so anyway, starting out on a somber tone there, I will tell you something exciting. I am getting into my bedazzling that I mentioned last week. So I did order some I'm gonna start with a t-shirt that I'm gonna bedazzle, and I ordered that and a bedazzling kit. And I think that's how I'm gonna fill my time. I'm gonna start bedazzling. So I am excited about that. And then I think after I do a shirt, if I'm successful with that, I'm gonna move on to doing the jersey I had mentioned for the New York Sirens, and we will see how it goes. But yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, we'll see. That's gonna be something silly and fun to do because I've never bedazzled anything ever. So we'll see how that does. I'm drinking a Spindrift. This is the yuzu mandarin flavor. It's a new flavor to me. It's really good. It's the little things. Yesterday, last night, I was like, I need to let loose, and I literally bought $20 worth of candy. Like we have this like Swedish candy store. Like, it's not only Swedish, but it's like Swedish, just like the kind of like gummies. And I spent $20 on gummies. And I also bought a book. Anyway, that's how what I did to let loose, get out of this. I spent $20 on gummy candy. Let's get into some of my loves. Obviously, I'm having a fucking spiral of a week. I'm having a spiral of a month, of a year, of years, whatever. But let's get into some of my loves. I love. This is a summer fucking movie for me. And I love this movie, Heavyweights. Does anyone remember that movie? I think it was filmed in 1990, or it was released in 1996. And I have a special relationship with this movie. I used to go, I didn't just go to camp. I went to a summer camp in Western North Carolina where I absolutely thrived. Like I was very much my thing. Anyway, we would have like dances with different camps there. So I went to Keystone Camp. And we would have dances with High Rocks. We did square dancing with them. And then we would have like dancing with Camp Carolina. And then one year, like sometimes they'd mix it up and we would go to another like boys camp. And so one year we did go to, and I cannot remember what it's called, and I should have done research before this, but honestly it took a lot to even just get in here and start recording, so I'm not gonna beat myself up about that. But yes, anyway, I love that movie, Heavyweights. Anyway, so we went to the camp where they filmed Heavyweights. It was a boys' camp in Western North Carolina. And we like went on the blob, which is like a big thing in the movie. And we did like these banana boat things in the water. Like it was huge. And then I was like, oh my God. And this is where, and I think it was like 1998 or maybe even 1997. So it was like a year or two after the movie was like had come out. And I was like, oh my God. Like I felt like I was on a film set actually. It felt very cool. But I love that movie. Like I love Ben Stiller. I'm sure, like, oh my God, there's probably problematic shit about him. I don't know. But I was like, I quoted something from Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers the other day. And I was like, I don't know why I said that. And Patrick was like, because it's like a line from the Meet the Fockers. And I was like, oh my God. I forgot. No, it was a line from the movie, but it was the male nurse line. I was just joking around. But I love that movie and I love Ben Stiller in that movie and in Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents, which I actually saw like later in life. Like I feel like I didn't see that movie until like a year or two ago. And I feel like sometimes when you don't see like a movie when it first comes out and you're like, everyone's talking about it and you're just like, I've never seen this movie and I don't understand the hype. But then you like watch it like a couple years later and you're like, oh, I get the hype and I was sleeping on this thing. Yeah, so Heavyweights, love that movie. I also love The Mighty Ducks. I don't know. I just love that era of movies too. One thing I'm also really loving, and honestly I've had to step back from it a little bit in the last 24 hours, is I'm loving seeing AOC's journey of freezing her eggs at 36. And I love that. She's kind of stirring up this conversation to talk about egg freezing, to talk about getting your fertility checked, because I think it's so important. And I am so happy for younger women and younger people that they have more like people talking about it and potentially resources. It's funny. I was kind of scared to do IVF and get my eggs frozen because I went on a couple like Tinder dates with this guy, and he would like told me, he was like, oh, I think he was just blowing me off, but he was like, oh, like my friend like got her eggs frozen and her uterus fell out of her body. And like I like fucking believed him. And I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy and scary. And then I was like scared of egg freezing, and this was at like 32, and I'm like, oh, why did I even but people don't. I never had a gynecologist ask me like, hey, do you want kids? Because you are 36 now, and maybe like you should think about getting your fertility checked. But it wasn't until I was 37 and demanded that I get my fertility checked at my doctor that they even did it. And that was in New York. So I just am like glad that there's a conversation happening and people are talking about it more. And, I think if I knew that I had severe DOR, like I do think I probably would have frozen my eggs at 34, 35. I don't think I had the resources before that to do it, but 34, 35 is probably when I started having the resources to potentially be able to do it in some capacity. But I had no idea that I had diminished ovarian reserve. Like I had no clue. And so I'm just so happy that people are talking about it. And I think there's also like a bit of shame, at least, that comes up about it with me. And I think it's just because we're not talking about it. So I'm even just trying to like talk about things on Instagram too, because like one thing also, there's the experience of freezing your eggs to preserve your fertility, but there's also the experience of doing IVF, whether that be freezing your eggs or creating embryo with your partner sperms, with donor sperm, with whatever. Being infertile, the experience is so different because sometimes like you will go through this whole stim process and your cycle will get canceled because you're not responding to the medications. You could deal with empty follicles. There's so many things that can happen, and it's just a different experience. Like I think for me, like doing IVF is out of desperation at this point. Like just desperate to have a baby. And so like, yeah, that is going to be a little bit different than someone's experience, like freezing their eggs to preserve them. But I think it's all really, really, really important to talk about and to normalize it and to open people's eyes about it, because the more people that are talking about it, also, it's like potentially the more apt companies will be to include it as a benefit, will be something potentially more insurance companies will cover. And I mean cover everything, cover the medications, cover the actual process, cover PGT testing. Like for me, I want a PGT test not to know like the gender or sex of my child, but I want a PGT test because I've had 4 embryo losses. And a traumatic miscarriage when I was 37, that I was bleeding for weeks. It was horrible. And I think like just knowing what the hell is going on is really important. So anyway, just happy those conversations are being had. I had to sort of log off Instagram and stuff because my cycle got canceled. I just don't want to see it right this second. I'm sure I will be back on very soon. So anyway, what's sending me into spirals? Well, all of that shit. But on top of that, I think definitely I've had this like conversation a lot, but like just overstimulation and being on Instagram and dehumanization and like just like we need to remember that people on Instagram or are people. Like I think there's such a dehumanization and like picking apart people, and I just think it's really scary. I think that we really need to take a step back from all of that and just remember that they're like being a human, being humanistic, being kind is really, really important. Something I also wrote, and I am talking about the Cambridge professor that committed suicide. I guess trigger warning, but what is his name? Sorry, I have to remember. Anyway, Jason Arday. You know, one, it's like all of these white professors have never had any repercussions from plagiarism, only black professors have. There's racism in that. But then I also started thinking about how like there's such a conversation around AI. And I thought in a world where everyone is using AI, every single thing is plagiarized. Like plagiarism is the new norm with AI. Like, and that's kind of what these like corporations and tech companies and billionaires are pushing, a world where we're not thinking, a world where literally everything is just plagiarized from something else because it is all AI. That's like really fucking scary. So that aspect of it, but then also like the dehumanization aspect of one, like holding people of color to a higher standard, that's disgusting. And bullying someone to the point of having them take their life. Like all of these conversations need to be had. And I think Instagram, Meta, social media is to blame for a lot of sadness, mental illness, etc. So that's definitely sending me into a spiral. Another one is, and this, I think it goes hand in hand in a way. This episode's very serious. I just realizing this episode is serious. I don't know. I'm just not in a funny mood, so it's just gonna be a serious episode, I guess. But the Big Bend National Park, bulldozing it for a fucking wall, and that's, here we go, dehumanization. Also, like deforestation, taking killing animals, like going against the Endangered Species Act. Like it's so fucked up, and like seeing this happen for something that's literally actually going to make it easier for who Trump is trying to keep out to get in, because now there will be a wall that they can see. Like it's so insane. Anyway, it just really is crazy, and like all of this craziness like piled with like the personal stuff is a lot. Anyway, that's why I kind of like deleted Reddit and Instagram for right now, but I'll be like posting on Instagram, but I'm just trying not to like scroll and shit. Anyway, I'm having a mental breakdown. Oh no, this whole episode is a spiral again. Ugh. I did get a listener that wrote in about what they're loving. They just wrote one love. And thank you for sending this in. They are loving tomatoes. It is like, I think tomato season. Let me see. Fact check. Hang on. Let me see. I'm checking really quick. Okay, we are in the height of tomato season, because tomato season apparently is May through October. Peak harvest is July through September. So August, peak tomato season. And And I will tell you, the farmer's market has some really amazing tomatoes right now. So I love that. I also had an amazing tomato water. We went out to eat for Patrick's birthday, and it was like a prefix thing, and they had like a tomato water, and it was so good. And I was actually thinking about how good that would be with a martini, like using this tomato water and then like making a martini with it. I think would be so good. But yeah, I'm loving tomatoes too, listener. Thank you so much for listening in and writing in. I appreciate it. And if you want to be featured on the podcast, you can send in your loves and spirals at mildly, yeah, that's the name of this podcast. Mildly spiraling pod@gmail.com. I so appreciate when you email in. It's absolutely, thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah. And it can be as simple as loving tomatoes. It can be as simple as I'm loving sunflowers right now. I'm having a moment with sunflowers. You see these flowers behind me if you're watching the video. I got those at the farmer's market 2 weeks ago and they're still thriving. But I got some sunflowers yesterday. I've been trying to, like, when I have a monitoring appointment early in the morning on a weekend, I try to, like, it depends on Saturday or Sunday. So like yesterday was Saturday. So like I go and get like a little pastry. And then I will go, like, I met Patrick at the farmer's market and we got some things there. We have found that there's this one stand, I go to the Fort Greene one. There's a stand where you can get, like, they have the best prices. I mean, so we spent $27 and this is what we got yesterday. We got basil, tomatoes, eggplants, potatoes, I'm probably, onions. I might be forgetting something else. Then we got peaches at another stand. The fruit is really expensive. This stand that's cheap, like, or not, like, it's like reasonably priced. Like, they don't have fruit, but like all the places that sell fruit at the farmer's market are really expensive. But I saw something the other day that it was like, if you get like hardworking foods, like hardworking vegetables at the farmer's market, it is like cheaper. So like potatoes, rutabaga, like root vegetables, like that kind of thing, onions, a lot of times, like, it is gonna be way cheaper. But if you get like the sexy fruit or vegetables, like tomatoes, peaches, like berries, those are gonna be more expensive. But I don't know, like the peaches at the farmer's market are really good, but they are really expensive. I think we got 4 peaches yesterday and it was like $11 and I was like, shit. I didn't even realize how much it was going to be. I was like, oh God. But like, I think I had spent $17 on peaches the other week. I'm like, oh, this is insanity. I'm not doing that. The first like stall when you walk into the farmer's market has like all these tomatoes and peaches and nectarines out, but it is the most expensive, but it is like set up the best for like your Instagram photo or whatever, which is why I feel like it's also really popular, but they don't have the best prices. You got to go deeper into the farmer's market for those. Anyway, I like doing that. But yeah, like, so if I go, I like just like, that's what I was doing with my monitoring appointments, and that was really nice. Especially like yesterday, like, just to get into it for like a few more seconds, like, I only had my doctor last ultrasound, 2 ultrasounds ago. He was doing surgery, so he wasn't there. So it was a tech, and I got no information. And then this last time, it was a doctor that wasn't my doctor, so they couldn't really give me information. But I also like know, and I'm like, okay, she's not saying like numbers out loud, and I don't see any follicles on the ultrasound. Like, I feel like I can see the follicles on the sound now, and I was like, okay, I don't see any. So yeah, this isn't good. So I kind of like was like almost crying at the farmer's market too, and I didn't feel well. And also like, having your cycle canceled basically means you don't even get to the fun part, which is getting to go under anesthesia and take a little nap. So I don't even get the fun part. I just stopped doing stims. And yesterday, like, was the first night in 11 days I hadn't done stims. And I just like have such a headache now because I just stopped them like abruptly. And it just kind of sucks, like, to do that. Like, you're doing this and there's not like I don't know, it's just like you're working towards something and it doesn't work out, right? Like, if to put it in the simplest terms, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know. We're in tomato season. I don't know. Maybe my fertility will be better out of tomato season, but I still do love tomatoes. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope it wasn't like a huge bummer, but I really wanted to record because I love doing the podcast. And honestly, like, there's a book that came out that I really want to read. It's called You Might Feel Some Pressure or something like that. I don't know. I really like the Fried Eggs podcast. If you are looking for a fertility podcast that's strictly fertility, really love that podcast. Shout out to that. But they had the author of that on. You Might Feel Some Pressure, I believe is what it's called. I really want to read it, but I also was just like, where am I going with this? Oh yeah, like she was talking about like how she was like writing down all of this stuff that was happening while she was doing IVF, and it was like helping her process it. And I was like, yeah, like in a way, like doing the podcast helps me process it. Like I had said a couple episodes before, I did not set out to do this type of podcast. But you know, it just happened because this is a big part of my life. So I even recorded today, even though I'm like, I don't have any loves. I do have loves. Just can't think of that many besides the movie Heavyweights for some fucking reason. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Love you. Bye. That's my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. I'm wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, etc., etc. I'm on all of them. You can subscribe and like the episodes on YouTube, Mildly Spiraling Podcast. I always really, really appreciate a rating on Spotify or Apple. It helps me so, so much. I promise. I won't even see who it is that's rated me. I'm also on Instagram at Mildly Spiraling Pod. I'm on TikTok at Mildly Spiraling Pod. Come and join me, and you can be featured on the podcast. Email me at mildlyspiralingpod@gmail.com. Email me your loves, email me your spirals, and I will read them on the email. Just let me know if you want to be anonymous in the email, otherwise I'll say your name. But all right, thank you so much for listening. Love you. Bye.